You'll have to forgive me. I may have had a couple birthday drinks, so some of my words come out a little weird. We're celebrating. Um, First things first, we're going to start off with NQ. Last week we went over the Forex Factory. We'll do that at the end. But I think this is pretty easy, right? Uh, that's pretty funny, Salado. But yeah, we have a gap down, right? And I think that's going to be the most important factor here is that we did open at the lows. Thank you, dude. Um, we have a downside trigger to the upside. Yeah, I know we got the downgraded United States, and 21 250 is basically the floor that I have underneath me where we have empty space. Now, looking at the Qs, folks, why is there gaps? Oh, regular hours, gross. As you can see, uh, last week, right, and I did take a short. Jesus Christ, you guys are crazy. You're sending me all these gifts. But anyway, huge breakdown after hours. Now, so far in futures, we've already seen a break back up, right? And that's going to be important because it's filling the space, right? It is filling that empty space. So if we open up right below 518.75, that leaves a gap to fill to the downside. And we will go and hit my target of 512 and go hit our target of 508. What's up, Petey? But this could be a really exciting week. Those drinks got you. Hell yeah. But anyway, so looking at the Qs, maybe split the screen here. Look at NQ side by side. Okay. NQ, there we go. Right. So going to the 24-hour, 4-hour. So we have that leg down, right? But you're already filling that space. So if we open up somewhere in here, you'll have a box to punch. This will make it easy, right? This will make our life easy going into this week where we're able to either bounce right back up, but it is going to leave a gap. And I think that once you fill the gap, you go for that 511. So if anybody swung short with me, there's still a chance that we could even by tomorrow morning pop back up and see that fade. But this also sets us up to punch to the upside. So finding and identifying your targets to the upside will also be pretty important. And we already talked about this last week as well. Again, good timing on the short, though. I will say that. But the target above for us, and that's going to be back up above 520, is going to be 522, where you'll have a target up around 526. I am recording this, yeah. So tomorrow could be really exciting, especially with that downgrade, with the price action, or I mean, you're going to drive in volume. I really like the potential to make money this week, and maybe even those swing trades that we took will result in some cash. So, that being said, let's take a look at SPY and ES side by side. Yo, the galaxy. Yo, the roses. Yo, you guys are crazy. Thank you. Damn. So last week, man, this thing hit my target and fucking collapsed, punching down on the lower time frame through that box and ending up down here to the downside. And you can see the result of that in futures where they popped up. That means at the moment that we might be opening up on SPY's floor, which is going to be 590.40. Remember that 590.40, 590.50? That's going to be super duper important. And then ultimately, right, we have to look at the potential to whip back up. I know we got the downgrade, but we have to look at the potential of at least retesting before that happens. So we'll see what futures do. But if we do open up on 589.40, I think we'll retest 591. You could even see a pop back up 593.25 before climbing back down. But yeah, I grabbed both sides of the trade. But personally, I don't think a downgrade is enough to send us hurtling. We'll see that they could just be using that as an excuse. So, but what this is, and this is going to be the definitive statement for this week, is this is a read and react week, right? we're going to have to see where, thank you, dude. I appreciate you. We're going to have to see where we open up, and then mark out those highs and those lows outside of our structure and look for that empty space and take those trades. It's just that simple. So if you're wanting to make money this week, we have the potential to do so, especially now that futures did bounce off that floor, and that means that floor is exhausted. So a little bit more trickery, but with the empty space underneath us on both, you know, where you can't, you're on shakier ground. But it's not enough for me to say, yeah, like we're dead. Yo, thanks for the gifts, guys. I appreciate it a lot. Last, we'll take a look at IWM here, and you know, I saw the potential for this one to move down, and it did, but it didn't really collapse all the way. And as you can see, we're opening up in range on this one with lots of wicks up above us. So looking at this, I expect that, yeah, you're gonna have another. Now listen, before I go too far, this is a excellent while the empty space is a little bit lacking, the fact that you've seen movement on your other ETFs and not this one, I think is really, really interesting. So at the moment, you have a low of 206. You have 3 rejections off the top. So over 2010, you're looking at upside, probably up into the 213 and 214 area. And then if we break down, right, we've got that potential low and gap fill, median target being 204. So, but yeah, next week should be pretty interesting. All right. Bro, I asked Alex, does Potter own you? And he blocks me. Listen, he has to have the largest block list of anybody on this app. I was just laughing about it. All right. If you guys have anything you want me to take a look at, I would be happy to do that. Jesus, Neil, Wheezy, thank you guys. I don't need it, but I appreciate it. I really do. If you're doing this for feet pics, it's not happening, dude. All right. I'll try and keep up. If I miss your request, just keep it coming. All right, so far, at least with that move down, you weren't able to grab onto that floor. It looks like price pulled back underneath. So you have 2 plays available. You have either the retest off of 110.21, or the punch down, where it looks like even if you move into this mark, you have the potential for continuation to the downside. And that would bring you to 107.65. So yeah, thank you guys. I know. How far would I take these contracts on Dell? As a new trader, how do you manage long positions during drops like these? I usually hedge with shorter expiration contracts, or make a decision on where we cut. Oh, what expiration? Well, that depends on what, you know, your risk is. I'll be honest with you. You know, if you I said this last week. If some of you guys that are trying to make money, you don't need to be touching, you know, weeklies all the time. You need, that's a like a opportunistic thing that happens when you clearly see empty space. So, Jesus Christ, man. Thank you, dude. Almost 6K gifts. All right. So anyway, with Dell, again, another read and react situation. You have that empty space you left behind at the end of the day. So look for those bounce spots to potentially give you that pop back up. Or if you gap up because of the cues, this could be your new box. So really no signal on that one quite yet. 30 days expiration? No, you could use weeklies, but you don't want to use 0 days till expiration typically when you're dealing with a small account, unless you're able to find like a $2 or $3 or $5 position that makes apps super, you know, ton of sense. So is this what you wanted me to look at? HP? If this is, no, it's not all-time highs. HP? Yeah, I don't see anything. Are you talking about this one? HPQ? Mobile Legends, buddy. Yo, thanks for the socks and sandals. Which one are you talking about, man? On HP. Okay. Bitcoin ripped. Listen, Riot might pay. Is anybody still in Riot with me? Okay, so I'm not exactly sure, what you're looking for out of this one, but I know, man, you're killing it with the gifts right now, dude. Thank you. But you have a gap that you filled 1726. If you can pop back outside of $18, looking over here to your left, you have a really large structure up above you. Looks like most of that. And I would bring, I don't know, actually, it might be worth actually giving it the whole zone. So it'd be like $20, but you need to recover and fill your gap at 1870. That seems like it could happen soon, but you still have a 1710 level to bounce off of. So yeah, I appreciate that a lot. I want to know if I should add Riot. Well, if Bitcoin ripped, did Bitcoin rip? Yeah, it ripped. So if it holds its high, it's up at the high though. It's got to push past that, or man, that could be a nasty place to reject. I don't know what name on. Give me. I don't know. I believe I took a short position out on. Yeah, I did. I took a short out on Affirm. Thank you for the confetti, dude. You guys are going crazy right now. I don't think I've ever gotten this many gifts. Yeah, I have Affirm 43 and $46 puts. Um, and I like that one still short down to this floor here of 48 and then to fill the gap potentially to 46. I love it. So thank you, Scott. I appreciate the birthday wish, man. Reddit. Diamonds on it. Panther paws. Holy shit. I've never seen those before. Reddit came off of earnings, obviously not really pulling itself together off of that. You still have a box that has to be acknowledged. That box is here, low is 103.50. But the multiple projections over 127, say something. So this is going to be an important level right across the board, and it eliminates the potential for a reversal. And with that being said, I would be targeting somewhere in the 93.25 or yeah, $90 area as well. Disney, I'm going to try to move through these relatively quickly. So Disney, I think looking at the weekly time frame, right, you see how well it's pushing up over. I think it's a kind of a no-brainer wall, right, overhead, and that should be a punch over to 122.85, and perhaps if that can continue higher, I see 131. So that's what I see on Disney. I missed that one, man. I was a little bit bummed out. I still am fucking with Starbucks though, but Starbucks kind of let me down with the pullback. But we said this was going to happen with dividends coming in, and I look forward to taking a position on this one because even if I fail and don't make money 10 times in a row, based on my risk to reward, I would still end up green overall if I could accomplish this play because this has a good setup depending on which expiration I can get. But I would be looking forward to I mean, honestly, if you look at Starbucks, it's really a punch through this box. So if you kind of follow along here with the stop, like setting alerts, right on the top and on the bottom of that box, you should be able to catch yourself a position and a gap fill trade 88.67 and 89.29. All right. BYND. Jesus, the gifts. You guys are crazy. Thank you, Scott. You said you only open positions right before close. Why is that? Well, not always. But the majority of the time, I want to see how price settles because there's a reason that they control certain price or keep price closed within a certain parameters so that I can see where price has settled on a higher scale. And that gives me the bigger 24-hour candle close signal. A galaxy, dude, a money gun. Holy crap. Mustache. Jesus. Thank you, guys. Really wish I knew where my glasses were. My eyes kind of hurt. But seriously, thank you guys. You guys know how to do that. That's really nice of you. Weekly time frame. I mean, you got a really nice weekly candle. You don't have a ton of empty space. I think I regarded 277 as the cost basis, and you went red there. So it might be you either A, have to come back down and retest, or B, you just need to continue building at this level. Damn, another money gun, dude. Thank you. Holy crap. Yeah, so when this is going to be a lower time frame ordeal for sure. So you need to get a 280 punchback over 283. Our Alex viewers don't give them stuff. I mean, yeah, it's always a surprise, and I appreciate it. Yeah, I play 7 days till expiration, 5 days, 4 days, but weeklies can get a little scary. Sim to 21. So if I'm not mistaken, my cost basis was 1875, but even looking at and you did have that down, so you are at the downtrend. So I think this is one of those things where you could probably get rid of all of this and yeah, so you're looking for a break over 1870 hourly candle close. Um Maybe a retest off of 1710 if you break down. I do not know what do we see? See translation. Excuse me, is this your phone number? Dragodian. I couldn't read that, but I translated it. All right. MSI. It's been in consolidation for quite a long time. And it has a weekly box it's been trading in heavy. So from here and over Friday's high, you'd be looking for, I mean, without complicating it, you need to get a move up to the 440 mark and go try to push this high. It's a straightforward setup. Don't overcomplicate it. It might take a while. It's a lower volume trading stock, but it does have the components that we look for in a good trade. So over 442, 441, you're looking for probably a 2 to 3 week trade into the 465s. I think UNH is good for maybe some bounce trades. I don't know if this is going to get all of its empty space. I mean, the chart is the chart, but that being said, you can see that you're building right now. You have an overhead straightforward 295, 65, and then a straightforward target directly above that at 310.40. It's that simple. So above this, you'll go hit that. It's just that simple. And if you can reclaim that and punch over that, maybe you'd have to look left at that point because you're pushing in. Yeah, so you'd have the 320 for sure, 330s. You'd have the 367. So it's going to be a long journey here. You have to be patient on that one. A lot of dip buyers trying to come in too, but oh my god. I mean, this one, man, keep it Jesus, dude. The money got the roses, Ivy. Oh my gosh, you guys! Every time I look over, you guys are ridiculous, dude. Thank you guys so much. I appreciate it. I really do. I love you guys. All right, and you got a box up above. So I mean, yeah, if you're looking for this thing to get anywhere, down or up, it's got a wild, it's got a lot of structure to break. So yeah, very, very, very appreciated, guys. Yeah. Appreciate you guys. Thank you. Thank you, JCRV. You in the skies right now? I've had a few. I'm enjoying my birthday for sure. This is what was that? You remember Drunk History? Did you ever see that on YouTube? We're about halfway there. You can't tell though, because I'm a really stoic guy, super stoic. You know, never slurs any of my words. Yeah. I appreciate you, Scott. Go all the way. Double dog dare you. You want me to get slammed? Listen, I got a whole case right here. Yo, what the fuck is that, Neil? Star Map Polaris? Jeremy? Thank you guys. Damn. Etsy needs to get over 5113. I'm not sure exactly, but this thing is are exactly sure what you're trying to accomplish on this one, but it did try to go and reclaim the floor, and it slipped, and its fingers fell. So you either are in for more week 24-hour consolidation, or with that rejection you had, if you lose 45.50, you might have a floor to go and retest again. So um, you could tell the second you got here. Ah, shit. Thought I was being sneaky. So APLD actually hit my target, at least on the 2 hour here. Yeah, it filled the empty space. Holy shit, manifest. Damn, Neil. You guys sent me like a small car. That's crazy. Let a nip slip happen or something. I'm just kidding. Anyway, I I personally, when I look at this chart, I don't really see much else. You do have that, which is going to be an 833 break, but the where you reject it is where you must reclaim in order to get higher. Pause. But yeah, that's exactly what you need. So you need to be looking underneath you off of what can be retested. You have an area to bounce at 646 or 621. Thank you guys. A shell, seashell. Ivy, thank you. Ivy, by the way, absolutely delicious. We'll eat my face a little bit here. She actually makes some good ass cake. Ivy sent me a really awesome birthday cake, man. It was really cool. It it is delicious. Yeah. Ivy didn't mail a cake. She had somebody here. This maybe you guys go give her a follow. Um it's called Sweet Sensations by Adrian LLC. Cake and beer. Yeah, no. You are what you eat. I'm whoa, hey, hold on, Jay. What do you mean by that? What do you mean by that? You saying I've got cake? No, if she shipped me a cake, man, that'd be crazy. Customs and everything. All right. Thank you, 44th. Bastard. So you have a punch down on MSTR that's obviously lurking right here. You lack a little bit of that empty space. You still have a box up above you, so this is in between two signals, and that's where I go ahead and I wait in order to see or get confirmation in order, or to see which direction you're heading. So 405 is where you need to recover up above you to go break over a 415, 1415 cost basis above you, and then you have a cost basis below it, 388. And that to me, I think drives you into the 367.85. So, uh, Ivy, thank you. When did you become a moderator? I don't know. I think maybe Ivy tried to ban you. No, I'm just kidding. I don't know. I'm not sure how you became a moderator. guess you're moderating, dude. You better get to it. I was kidding. SOXL, bull shares. Yep. So that, like everything else, guys, we've filled up the empty space. You've hit your structure, and now you're kind of pulling back. You're looking at where you can hold on to or what needs to be held. I'm looking at some of these more important levels, like even this bounce here, and that's seeming, not really doing much of anything here. So it's going to be that open 1629 price. If you lose that, there's a vulnerable gap 1550 and 1425. I'm about to start banning everybody. All right, hold on. Ivy, stop him. I don't know how to fix it. Too much power for one man. Thank you, 44th. Appreciate it, man. Thank you guys for the birth, Myra. Thank you. I appreciate you. HPQ. So you've tapped that same floor of 29.42. You need to recover it. You need to go and push through 29.88, and you have a 31, and I think a more straightforward target at 32. Thank you, 6'8" vet. Tatito Tompkins, thank you. I appreciate that a lot. Damn it. Nike. So a lot of stocks, guys, saying the same thing, right? You've filled up your empty space, you hit your targets, and now you're seeing some profit taking, right? So it's important to look at what's underneath you. You have a 61.85 cost basis underneath you. If you break down and lose that, tempted to give you the wicks, but if you break down and lose that, then you have a retest likely to happen here at $60, and another one here at 59.40. Yeah, I know everything. Well, you had that push down on Friday, and that was, it felt really cool to be able to grab the hedge shorts down there. Chasing a dream. Holy shit, what does that even mean? The roses, dude. Holy fuck. Are you guys racing for title gifter? Jesus. But anyway, with that being said, right, you have to, I think this is going to stand for everything, right? Everything is in a hit its target. A lot of things have hit their targets and are holding. So I guess in some ways, if you're a seller, you'd kind of want to have an average somewhere here. So $63 retest would be great. Everyone appreciates you very much. Thank you, Kiki. It feels good to see it actually help people and not just pretend, that I'm helping people. It's good stuff. The community is also, I look forward to getting up every morning, and a lot has changed, especially since we, clamped down on the Potter box or nothing, things have been pretty good. So thank you, Easy. BBAI, I think that one goes and retest 340, man. At that point, you've got most of your empty space filled up there, so it's gonna be a tough one to rip back up. I think you come back down and touch 340. So over 385, maybe a squeeze or something. Elf might do that thing. What the fuck is that? Those aren't even candlesticks. I agree with you, man. It's one of my, listen, I don't know what it is about me and Elf, but I nail that sucker as far as equity is concerned. I did Myra. Yeah, they'll be on the recording in just a moment. But yeah, I got a really good average on Elf, and I expect for earnings to give us a. I expect us to go and hit 100. You know, maybe not on earnings. It doesn't matter if it does then or if it does 5 days from there. You know, the beautiful thing about having equity, you know, and really having, and one thing that a lot of you guys should strive for that have small accounts is, you know, you make 20 grand, like 10 of that could go into instead of playing, you know, options, you can have that money working for you, you know, on something that looks clear, but maybe the options don't really give away anything clear. Or they're, you know, the spread's wide. Thank you for the surfing penguin and the meteor shower. Holy shit, Neil. Damn, Neil. Dude, what the fuck, man? You guys have sent me so much. Yeah, like long term. I think everybody should strive to get there, you know, to be able to, I mean, there are days where I don't trade, but my equity is doing fine, you know, or there's even on my vacation, you know, I, you know, had things that were making me money, hedges that were making me money, but more hedges, I think, than equity. Uh, but yeah, it's good shit. Rivian up. Yeah, so that's actually another one that I have equity on right now. Now, long term, I think this thing has an extraordinary potential. I think it hits 1660, 1650, and I think that we fill the gap in time all here. That gets filled. Period. For me, anyway. That this delicious option play potential here. But that has 1660 has to break. So we're on our way. But I don't know if it's an announcement or news. Uh, yeah, he does. He definitely does. Thank you, man, for the roses. Jesus. Um, Tommy Mac, stay long for two. I, you know, I can't tell you, but everything I do is based on the chart. Everything. So Baidu, listen, I always try to be 100% honest with you guys. Even I struggle trying to interpret the chart on Chinese stocks. And the main reason being is because Chinese stocks in particular are difficult because they take away the advantage of the 24-hour chart, right? Erica Baidu. What are you talking about? You shouldn't be able to hear music right now. I mean, here's the thing. Baidu and Chinese stocks open up like one day you'll gap down to 83, 84. You know, especially with the way it's set up right now, if you fill that gap and then you go like, you know, the potential right now, I think with drop, you know, there's a couple things. It's not unreadable completely, but what it did do is fill up that empty space, pull itself back underneath that 9250. And so it's hard not to interpret this as something that could go try to go break 86 and be down in the 83s. But again, you know, you're one Chinese headline away for fucking gapping the fuck up, and you'd be like, what the helly? Um, any insights into EL Estee Lauder, 24-hour. So it looks like, you know, I use the metaphor rock climbing. When you're trying to reclaim or go up, you need to rock climb. You need to grab onto the ledge to your left. And you did. You tried. And you went up and you hit a resistance. That major resistance seems like it was there. Uh, and then it pulled right back. So and I'm not sure exactly if that was like a news candle or you just, yeah. So at this point in time, you know, you look at the 4 hour candle close up against or underneath 64.40. You go to the hourly, and that's going to give you a similar target of 63 where you'll have a gap fill down to 60.80. So, oh yeah, Ivy extended the 35. You know what? We should have made a 33% discount since it's my birth. But yeah, fuck it. Alex Trade says you're wrong. Well, it sucks because I'm right a lot. I'm right quite often, which, you know, I don't really take a ton of pride in. You know, it feels good. It makes me money. But if you went out and you told somebody, yeah, man, I call price overnight really easy at a bar, they'd be like, well, all right, cool, man. But at least I don't fucking scam people out of their money or promise them bullshit or hide my strategy behind paywalls. I definitely don't do that. Hood has a breakdown underneath 5787 with a potential to gap fill at 5479. So it's going to have to be anybody who's watching this one, that small box, and I imagine you'll be able to see it, motherfucker. I do not have a monthly subscription. I have the workshop, which comes with 4 months, or I have a lot of free material on my YouTube channel. And if you're hungry for it, you'll go through every single one of the educational videos, and I think you'll find a lot of what you're looking for. Especially those of you guys who, you don't want to pay anybody anything until you feel like something makes sense. Or I have so many people who make the money by learning from my YouTube, and then they have the choice on whether they want to buy anything, because at that point some of them are independent. Dude, thank you guys for the gifts. Holy shit, man, I'm fucking dumbfounded here. Hood could, yeah, definitely give you that collapse back down. It left empty space, so watch how, depending on where it gaps up. We'll look at all of this in the morning. Learned a lot from YouTube, but want to buy the workshop for sure. Yeah. Billions of peaches. Peaches for free. All right, keep dropping those requests. What else do we got here, folks? To the country. I'm gonna eat a lot of peaches. A choo-choo train. What the fuck? Damn, the money guns. Czech. Czech Republic. I can't chart that. What's my YouTube channel? It's in my bio. You can find it there. SRPT. It's in a box. Fuck, man. This chart stresses me out. So I say, dude, Czech Republic. What are we doing here, man? I say you have a target of 32.32 as long as you stay underneath 38.72. It's just a wild looking chart. Marvin, I did Starbucks. You'll see that one on there. PLCR. Peaches foamy. Millions of peaches. Peaches for free. I mean, I think there's quite a bit of potential to come back down and retest at least 122. The good thing is if you're looking to the upside, you left a trigger behind right here. So if you move through 129, I think that's a relatively easy punchback. You also seem to be developing a channel, or you're in one. So yeah, I mean, I could even see if you break down below this mark, you'll go here down to 118.50. So I could be a short for sure. CVS. Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and assume that this had a range. You built a box around the 50% mark of that range. You pulled back. You're sitting on the floor. So that's where you bounce. You bounced, you retest cost basis, but you didn't break. So look below, you have 6170. So if you lose your low of 62, you will be heading down. Yeah, if you lose your low of 62, you'll be heading down to 6170, at least for now. And I do think there's a lot of upside potential. So, watch that 6250. Oh, God. Brother, there is something wrong with this chart. I think at most, like that was a previous resistance at 79 cents. If you can break over that, I could see maybe 86 getting filled, but I'm not going to pretend to see more than that on the chart. You have a box up above you here. So, clearly it's 90 cents that needs to be reclaimed, but that's an interesting chart for sure. It's got to be lower time frame analysis on this one. I do see a lower high. So a little channel here will likely do. You've got your 1, 2, and so if you make a second approach down, I think it's safe to say if you get pulled back underneath $58, you'll be heading for the floor here, and I would be looking for the gap fill at 51.80. Thank you, Ivy, for posting the discount. I did Nike already. AMAT 24. Oh man, so yeah, you went up. You looks like you tested that floor right there, and you came back down. So it's gonna be one. So it's gonna be the 160, 117, and 160 even. If that is lost, you have a pretty straightforward target to the downside, and I mean that gap's down. So the gap is 155, but the 156.33 would be my first target to the downside on that one. Yeah, I don't think I've ever gotten that many gifts in any live. That's the most gifts I've ever gotten. So I do appreciate that. I don't know what that's worth, but Jesus, put it in the small account. Um, that's an interesting setup. So you went up, you hit your cost basis, and you had empty space, and you pulled right the fuck back down. Um, I mean, I would be looking at a 619 target next. I mean, depending on what futures do tonight. Um, it is possible. I don't know about that actually. If you lose 624, I think you get 610, 611. Riot is a swing. So I'll tell you what I have right now for swings, so you guys have a leg up. I have a firm down, 46, 43 strikes. I still have some Celsius, which Celsius at the end of the day obviously took a turn down. I don't have the original position, but I did grab some of the $37 puts as a potential hedge. I have Riot, and then I did grab. Yeah, I did grab the QQQ uh, puts for the 512, 508, and then calls for 530. Yeah, you know what? Celsius will get there eventually. I tried to take it before we got our trigger, before we had our open, and that's why you take low risk positions. But regardless, this one, when and if it does break up, should give us a really nice push. But um, So I was looking at this actually the other day, and I think I made a mistake. Um, Being that in the most recent price action, this is a floor, that is a ceiling, and that's a box that tries to reclaim it. So it doesn't usually if I see something like that, I think it's got to be my chart. So here's the deal. Your floor that you need to hold is right around 218. That floor is your cost basis on the structure below. You filled up your empty space down, right? So this is one of those ordeals where you have to definitely keep your eyes peeled back up to the upside because you left empty space. So if you catch a bounce right here, right? So watch the 221.84 and 219 mark. So you did punch back. You did make a new high, and then you got yanked back underneath. And I think that's obviously showing that sellers are in control, at least for the moment. But buyers have not let that floor of 62.75 go. If they do, I'm almost positive you're going to come back and retest that $62 mark here. I don't know how much impact Moody's is going to have. You know, it's leaving behind empty space. It's not enough to crash the market. It's the first time it's ever happened in history, but you know, whatever. I don't know. I'm just going to focus on the charts. I don't usually even think about that shit too much. I say 173 bounce on First Solar. You had one hell of a fucking squeeze. Holy shit. Um, but yeah, wow, that really did it in like 2 days. Yo, thank you for the roses, dude. I did Cisco. All right, guys, we're about to hit an hour mark here, and we'll probably shut it down. But um, go enjoy rest, enjoy the rest of my night. Oh, there it is. We're losing it. Okay, so on the 4 hour, on the 24 hour, you're right at your open, and I think that's again, you don't really ever want to be below that open. So that would put the 198.50 target, and I mean, you can't ignore the fact that you have a target down at 194. You know, so I would split that in half, 198.50, and that's it. So I know you guys are killing the live right now. Is this is about to be new highs. So all I can give you right now is the wick at 1617. You are trying and not successfully, I might add, to break up into new highs, right? You're doing it, but it's coming at a cost and it's dry. It's not dealing with a ton of volume. So I would be aware of the 1015 punch down to give you a nice downside play to $8. I know the Moody ratings, yes. Stacy, thank you for the heart puff. Hugo, thank you. I appreciate all of you. And again, I don't even think about the fucking news, you know. I usually it's in the chart, but which is funny because I took a short, on the cues right before the bell, talking about the third rejection, and literally have the best average I could ever think of. So I mean, gold could be good, but yeah, I'm not. I usually don't gravitate towards gold too much. Google was supposed to go and do its job and it did not. I think there's a couple things that you really need to pull away from this chart. One, you broke past this and you got pulled back underneath it. You have an empty space underneath you and a retest of 160. 4 hour. Yeah, so you 160 and 159 underneath, very simply underneath that 162.26. If I did AMD. A lot of requests tonight, though, and you know, I see we have to. I mean, again, we'll look really quick. Um, you know, if you look at what's and did it pull back? Fuck yeah. What did I say at the beginning of the stream? So for those of you guys watching this back, I thought, you know, I said this could either happen tomorrow morning or it happen by the time I was done with, or you know, we're talking in the stream. So now, right, it's actually fucking kick ass. Did anybody take the Q puts with me? Dude, I took 512s. If I, dude, I'm gonna hit this trade. I'm gonna fucking hit this trade, dude. We're gonna have a fucking kick-ass Monday. This is the freedom behind date or behind swing trading, dude. You could and you know I put probably $1,000 into this, so it's like, dude. Actually, I put I lied, 850. I'm sorry, I just looked at the wrong position. But yeah, I'm primo. I took the 508s as well. But again, we'll see. It's too soon to tell. But if we're underneath that fucking floor, guys, ugh, muy delicioso. I have Cisco puts $60 strike. Yeah, what did you guys swing over the weekend? What did anybody swing anything over the weekend? What are you guys' positions? I'd like to see a firm crash, to be honest with you. Let's see. Apple puts, QQQ calls, just the calls, nobody? No puts. 414. I saw QB. Okay, affirm puts. Let's go. Riot calls, but that's crazy because in Bitcoin, let's see, did it rip down already? No shit. Right at the beginning of the stream, I talked about it being at resistance. I think Riot's still okay, but because listen, before we get ahead of ourselves, right? Watch a pullback to 511. You could bounce so hard. All of that would be empty space. If we hit 508, we're gonna bounce. So, not sure. No puts went in light, not enough funds. That's okay. If he didn't swing anything, that's okay. Because guess what? We're creating empty space and we're filling it up, and there's more to come. So don't be discouraged if you didn't fucking listen. Have perspective. You will catch one. So, all right, we'll go ahead and end the stream here. Thank you guys for the fucking gifts. That was ridiculous. That's definitely a record for sure. Duolingo. All right, I'll do a couple more. Hold on. We'll hold on. Duolingo short. Honestly, dude, I don't hate it. I again, you have, I would say, yeah, you have to go here to the lower time frame. You have a trigger for Duolingo right below you. There we go. Okay, so we got an overhead of 544. You have a 521.59 breakdown. And honestly, my biggest concern and focus would be that level there. And that's 504. If that breaks down, you should have a good 590 target. And that's the juice box right there. So you could trade that down to that 553. Thank you, Stacy, for the birthday wish. I appreciate you guys. Hard. Shit, we're looking out. You know, it's a rough looking stock, but it's doing what it's supposed to do. 2650 is your next target up above. If this thing can make its trip, it's got empty space right in here, and you could have a nice $28 target long term. So, streamer, I think that's a flag pattern. That is a flag pattern. And what does that tell me, streamer clipper? What does that tell me? What, that it's going to go up? That's going to completely reverse to the upside? Do you know the statistics behind the bull flag? Do you know that 1 year it returned like 800% against the S&P and was famous from like for 20 years, where then it failed to return anything relatively close to the S&P, and the S&P doesn't return that much every single year. And as of right now, you know, it's had a negative percentage return. I do not consider bull flags, bear flags, triangles, anything like that. I don't place any stock in it. I have my own strategy that makes me absolute bags, and I would be a fool to ever consider anything else until somebody else shows me something that can make me 1,000%. It if you can show me that patterns can make me 1,000% trades or 500% trades, then I would buy into it. And the only one that I do recognize is the inverse head and shoulders, but it goes directly into what my strategy provides, so it's always hand in hand. I know a flag, you know, but I don't. That's cheap shit that people sell to make money when they know damn well it doesn't work. What do I think of Home Depot on earnings? I think it hits 389 or drops back down to 365, so which could make a pretty good straddle. Hotter for your birthday. I'm currently covered in whipped cream, waiting for you to blow out the candle. We're gonna have to ban you. That's crazy, dude. That was a crazy thing, dude. I feel a little bit. I feel like I've just been assaulted. I need a break over 28.55 on the 24-hour to go and give you a potential to go up to the gap, and I wouldn't fucking target anything else. You've already hit the imbalance and that candle rejected, and so I would be aiming for 30. Keep it fucking simple. Jesus, you guys are still throwing gifts at me. Calm down. Holy shit. I'm not gonna pretend like I have any idea. I mean, you know, there's some shit that just defies logic. I think it would be easier to go horizontal here and look at where sellers control the price. It clearly seems like that 23.44 is where sellers control the price. So if you can get a breakdown below 21.75, I would be looking at 20.50. And I mean, you've had this selling into every pop. And so there's a lot more, especially with that big explosion off the floor. I think there's a good chance you'll be back down to 18 and maybe even 17 before too long. I know Neil's going fucking crazy over here. Ivy, thank you so much. Who's the worst, Alex Trades or Rusty Rod? Oh my god. Um, I don't know. I don't know. Rusty Rod's teeth or trying to find where Alex's eyes are on his face. I god damn. That's a tough question. I'll think about that one. Stressed me out right there. I don't know. I have to say Alex, cause Rusty doesn't seem like he beats his kids. I should end the recording here. Um, I mean, I think you got a great gap fill at $60. From there, I mean, you've fallen so fast. I would be waiting to see how you respond to that in 59. If you break 59, you have a box. So you're gonna have to be lower time frame. You're gonna have to be watching this thing to see if you break through this box where you have another gap at 56. Thanks for the follow, Oreo. Banks gaps down, filled their empty space. This is fucking mechanical as fuck, right? This is everything we talk about every single day. This is why we get out of our trades when we take point A to point B trades. You hit you fill the little bit of empty space up. You try for a couple of days, and now you're pulling back. So underneath you, you have a wall here at 74. Go to the 4 hour and straighten that up. That's 74.70. So you're heading down there at the moment. So that would be my expected bounce. And then you have a box above. So if you did bounce and you did recover 75.50 and punch through the box, you could go make a new high. Or, as you might be anticipating, underneath cost basis, you have a gap fill all the way to 70.30. And I think, honestly, looking at what that represents, you could see another leg down from there. So happy birthday, bro. Allah Akbar. Hope you are making a bag. We are, dude. Have Ivy edit that out. Yeah, maybe. Thank you, Foking Cherry. Jerry. What is cost basis? Hey, yo, hold up. I gotta click that. Yo, that's gold, bro. I can't tell if he's serious, but that might be one of my favorite crawl spaces. That was gold. Cost basis? I love that, dude. I'm dead. I'm gonna put that in the course. What are cost bases? I love that, dude. I'm just joking, man. It's cost basis. I don't know if you're serious or not. That is the 50% mark of any area of consolidation. You caught me after a couple drinks, man. Cheers. Cheers, everybody. Thank you guys for all of your support, all the gifts, being a bunch of cool fucking people. Hilarious. All right. Thank you guys. I really do appreciate it. All right, I'm going to go ahead and call it now. We're going to go ahead and stop the recording. Thank you, YouTube, for watching. Make sure to drop a like and a comment if you made it to the end of this video. If you have any requests, make sure to be here on TikTok. I'll be live at 8:30 a.m. tomorrow morning as my first day as a 33-year-old man. Crawl spaces? No. Cause spaces. Get out of here, dude. Do you pay commissions? Yeah, I pay a fee. All right, guys. Peace out. Much love. Thank you, guys. Thank you for the birthday. Thank you for the gifts. Thank you so much. Yeah, I feel really blessed. So thank you.